Yo, yo, yo. Earl Skakel here in my Amber Wild t-shirt. It's Paul Stanley's kids band, Evan Stanley, that I recently saw them open up for Kiss at the Hollywood Bowl. Thank you, Chris Anderson. We're going to do a little Rampage review. I'm not going to do too many Rampage reviews just because, what up, William Zoom? Usually not a lot happens on Rampage. It's kind of like the B show, you'll get like, the Butcher and the Blade. Minus the Bunny now. The Bunny is no longer in AEW, which is too bad, because she was made in the Earl manufacturing plant. My set last night went amazing. I was at the Ice House last night, and it was my first time playing the main room. They have two rooms. I don't know what they're called. The smaller room. It is not called the smaller room, but it is the smaller room. And then the main room, I think the main room is called the Legends Room. And it was funny. It was kind of a Comedy Store lineup. You had Kim Congdon on, myself, and a couple other Comedy Store comics. And then I was supposed to go on last. And but Greg Robinson was there, and he asked if he could go on. So I went on second to last and brought up Greg Robinson. And he's a very nice guy. Very nice guy. She is hot. I mean, like, and I think she's married to the Blade, who's the shorter of the guys, and the Butcher and the Blade. He's pretty jacked, so good for him. But it'll be interesting to see where she goes. I'll guess TNA. I don't see her going in WWE, but who knows? But yeah, Rampage is more the B show. It's almost on par with like you'll see like Willow Nightingale against a jobber. But I think that the next couple shows are all building up towards Full Gear, which is next Saturday. I will be in attendance. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. But there's something about her. Like, she's just very watchable. And I think she was in one of the greatest women's matches, that hardcore match, where she bled heavily. And I think she put who did she put? She did like a power bomb off of the edge of the mat, um, through a table. She put someone through it. I forget. It might have been Sammy Guevara's wife, but it was like, wow, that's a wild stunt for two women to do. But good luck, I guess, in her future endeavors. I don't know what that means for Butcher and the Blade. They're not really used that much anyway anymore. I could see them leaving as well. I don't have any inside info on that. I mean, I guess, Buddy Matthews is in AEW, and Rhea's in, obviously the top woman in WWE. So you can't have a husband and wife be in different companies. Got to be very hard, though, to maintain that. I mean, even if they're in the same company, the travel schedule is nuts. But I can't imagine they see each other much. Although AEW doesn't travel quite as much. I mean, WWE, I think if you're one of the top people, which Rhea is, I mean, she's the top female right now. I would say they're probably traveling, I would guess, at least 300 days um, out of the 365. And I would probably say if you're a top dog, like Rhea is, it's probably closer to 320 days. So you literally might get a random weekend off. But then maybe AEW has a show. Then so, and I think they'd get in trouble if they, like if Rhea was seen backstage at an AEW event. So like you can't even go watch your other half. But they knew that going in. So hopefully the bunny. I think she's doing an OnlyFans now, and I think it was Paige Van Zandt said she makes more money in 1 month on her OnlyFans than she did in all her fights in the UFC combined. I think another wrestler who left WWE, I forget her name, uh, said the same. Like she literally made more in 1 week on OnlyFans than she did the whole year in WWE. So, I can't join a married woman's OnlyFans. That's kind of, I mean, I guess she's on there, so her and her husband are cool with it, but like, I don't know. I don't think I could go there unless someone has a free password. Hello. But I did very well last night, William, at the Ice House, and Greg Robinson always does well. I like Greg because he does a really good version. He brings the keyboard out with him. He's very talented, and he does Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer." Hey, we already got 4 people listening. That's more than I had the other night. I'm still trying to figure out the algorithm of YouTube streams. I did one the other night. I think at, I don't know, 2 in the morning, and we had uh, 4 people listen. And then I did one the other night, I think 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and we had 18 people. So I'm still trying to figure out the best time and whatnot. And I also know doing, and it's not an AEW specific stream, but I also know AEW, it's a limited fan base. So we'll figure it out. Oh, no news will be posted. Yeah, I don't think you can screenshot on OnlyFans, but I would guess her husband. I mean, I don't know their relationship, but if they have a semi-normal relationship, I could see the husband going, I don't know about that. But who knows? Yeah, I know. I was on. Oh, we just lost 2 people. Damn it. Uh, that's the thing about when you only have 4 people listen. When 2 leave, you notice. I just lost 50% of the crowd. But that's all right. So, but I think that I knew Rampage would be good last night. I could just sense it, and it was in Oakland, California. A little surprised that they did not really have Powerhouse Hobbs on the show because he's uh, from Oakland. But I'm assuming, I don't know if they double dipped last night and did something for Dynamite, uh, but little surprising that Powerhouse Hobbs was not on the show last night. Um, so Rampage starts. Pretty good opening match. You have Ricky Starks with someone that I really like, Preston Vance. Kind of got a weird body type, Preston Vance, because he's pretty jacked, but I don't know if he's any taller than 6 feet. He seems to be about my size. No, I stood next to Ricky Starks at the Ric Flair. He was not at the roast, to my knowledge, but he was at the last match backstage, and I was significantly taller than him. So I would guess that Preston Vance is about my height, maybe 6'1", but I really like him. He's just got something. I can't put my finger on it. I mean, he's a pretty good looking guy, good build, good wrestler. I think what really got me into him was that one match, maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 months ago, where he was bleeding heavily. Like it was bad. And I was like, okay, I'll follow this guy. But he's kind of, I don't know, he's used sporadically. But now he's in the La Faction with Rouge. So and they seem to be getting a bit of a push right now. So hopefully he's used more. Ricky Starks came out with Big Bill. Kind of funny, Big Bill, who I'm friends with. I've got him a few stand-up gigs, and I think I said this before, but it's like why I don't want to meet these guys because they're so nice. And then, like, I've had Big Bill in my Jeep going to a comedy gig, and he was like so humble and nice, and now he's like this on TV. He's this out of control maniac bad guy. Um, so it just makes me laugh, to be honest with you. But thank you, Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson doing some promotion for me. Let me retweet that stuff. You know, that's all I ask of the fans. I need your help promoting because I have a small but mighty social media following. So every little bit helps. So I appreciate that very much, Mr. Anderson. So very good match, back and forth between Starks and Vance. And then as it looks like we might see an upset here because Preston Vance was kicking it into high gear. By the way, Preston Vance came out with Jose, the I guess the manager of La Faction. He doesn't really do it for me as a manager, but I'm open to someone sales pitching me. He's a good manager. Because a couple months ago, I didn't really like Prince Nana, and now he's definitely, we're in the money, uh, in my good graces. And I think about a year ago, I said on the Comedy Store podcast, I didn't really like Don Callis. He just, I don't know. And now he's the top heel manager probably in wrestling. I would say he's surpassed Paul Heyman. But Vance really was kicking it into high gear, with a bunch of lariats, and it looks like he was about to win. He goes to bounce off the ropes, and Big Bill did a little interference. Starks hit him with the spear, won the match. The whole time Vance was trying to get him in his finishing move, which is basically a full Nelson. And then after the match, Starks and Big Bill were beating up on Vance, and Roosh and Dralistico came in for the save. Um, good opener. I mean, I liked everyone in the match. Big Bill was funny on commentary. I mean, at one point, um, you Ricky Starks came over and was doing commentary too. I thought that was pretty funny. Um, and I do like Starks and Bill together. I think they were probably just kind of a tag team thrown together. Um, Starks has been up and down in terms of his pushes, and Big Bill. I mean, I didn't like how they debuted him as basically a jobber to Wardlow way back when. And if you remember in that match, Wardlow did one power bomb, and it um, was enough to pin him. Whereas, like with MJF, it took I think like 10 power bombs. So I didn't like that weakened Bill's character. Like, oh, he only can take one power bomb. Um, but they've kind of rebuilt Bill into a dominating factor, and so a good opening match, good way to start off. I mean, Rampage is only an hour, so which I kind of like because they there can't really be a lot of wasted time. Like if you watch Raw, I mean, Jesus, and I'll say this for WWE, it's tough. It's a 3-hour show. Like it's a lot of moving parts, but there's also a lot of you know dead air on Raw. So I do like Rampage from the standpoint of an hour. You got to get to it. The match has got to be tight. The promo's got to be tight. Um, and so far, Rampage off to a good start. Now, backstage, we do an interview segment with Renee Paquette and Chris Jericho. He is, I mean, you want to talk about the travel schedule. I like Swerve and Nana too. Swerve's a great in-ring talent, and Nana's, I think, the perfect foil for him in terms of a heel manager. Um, but you want to get an idea of um, the travel schedule of these pro wrestlers. So Chris Jericho is in Oakland last night. He's wrestling Takeshita in Japan Sunday, and then I'm assuming he'll be back in the States at least for Dynamite on Wednesday or Collision on Friday. Friday night they're doing because the pay per view is on Saturday. Next week's schedule is a little off for AEW. You've got obviously Dynamite on Wednesday in Ontario, California. I might check that out. And then you have instead of doing Dynamite and Rampage on the same night, next Friday night at the Kia Forum, they are doing Rampage and Collision. So it's going to be in action. There's 4 AEW cards next week. So they have a bit of a WWE schedule next week in terms of the amount of shows. So shout out to Chris Jericho for all that travel. I mean, he's probably on a plane right now to Japan. He's got to wrestle a great match with Takeshita, who can go. And then he's probably on a plane within 6 hours of that. Got to get ready for Dynamite. And then Friday, I don't know what he's on. I'm assuming he'll be on Collision, not Rampage. But next week Rampage could be like a condensed good Dynamite. So it will be very interesting um, to see what happens there. And then they go right from that to Lexi Nair, who, if you don't know, if you don't follow, the inner workings of AEW, Lexi Nair is Big Bill's fiance. She came with us one time when I took Bill to an open mic in a really bad part of town, and that was kind of funny. Like she would not leave my side at this place because it was like the bar in Star Wars. And she was interviewing Don Callis and Prince Nana. And so this is setting up the street fight with Omega, Jericho, Paul White, and Ibushi, but the Don Callis faction is missing one. So they had Prince Nana basically loaning Brian Cage um, to Don Callis' family. So that's going to be a street fight at full gear. I don't like street fights. There's just too much going on. And this is where one thing AEW is lacking behind WWE is the camera work. I think that last street fight with Moxley and Yuta, and I forget who they were wrestling, there were so many missed spots because, when you got a 3-on-3 and this one will be 4-on-4, there's going to be action all over the place. So unless you hire some ex WWE camera guys, it's going to be tough to, handle. Um, and then after break, we get, uh, I don't know what the faction's called, but it's Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, Jeff Jarrett, and Karen Jarrett, Kurt Angle's ex-wife. And basically, they're uh, setting up Jay Lethal against Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor world title. because Lethal is the number one contender, and then all of a sudden Ortiz enters, and he was saying to Jay Lethal, "Hey, you talked shit about me last week. Why don't you say it to my face?" And where I'm from, uh, if we're about to get a beat down, we swing. So he takes a shot at Jay Lethal, and then uh, that whole group beats up on him, and they break it up. So I'm assuming that's setting up an angle down the road. Maybe at Full Gear is the throwaway match. Um, because I don't think right now there's anything for Lethal or Jarrett. And then we go to Arubi Soho and Red Velvet. And I gotta be honest with you, I didn't really know a lot about Red Velvet. Um, I like her; she's very good. So but she hurt her leg about 9 months ago, so maybe that's why I didn't really have any feelings about her one way or the other. And very interesting, though. A good match. I mean, these it was about 10 minutes. Which, like, once again, on Dynamite, this might have been a longer match or Collision, but with Rampage, it's chop chop. There's not a lot of fat on Rampage, which, even though it's a B show, I do like the fact that it's a tight show. Hello, Charlie Don't Surf. I'm assuming that's a Vietnam reference. Um, but an upset. Red Velvet, um, it has to be considered a upset for Ruby Soho to lose on Rampage. So I don't know um, what they have in plan for Ruby. Um, what movie is that from? Charlie Don't Surf. Is that Apocalypse Now? Um, and they're doing some weird flirtation with Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Ange, who's pretty funny. I like Apocalypse Now. But one of my favorite character actors, G.D. Spradlin, who was the villainous coach, and not only one on one with Robbie Benson, but North Dallas 40, my favorite football movie of all time. And the weird thing is, G.D. Spradlin really, he's a great actor. He's since deceased, but he didn't like start acting until he was like 50. He was like some oil man, and I think somehow I forget the story, but someone's like, "Hey, you should be an actor." And he just gets into all these great movies. And I saw him the other night because I have his name in my search engine for DirecTV. So anytime there's a movie or TV show with him in it, it records it. He's in an episode of Gomer Pyle. So but this match it's weird. I mean, Ruby Soho is one of your top women, and so I don't know what the angle here is with her kind of going down the card, and I don't know. It's weird, but I'm assuming they got something in play. I mean, the monkey wrench is this like storyline with Cool Hand Ange because he's kind of like he's not. I mean, I guess he's a jobber, so I don't know why they would put her with him in a love angle or something. Um, so who knows? Oh, I didn't know that about G.D. Spradlin and Harrison Ford. I just G.D. Spradlin is good in anything. Well, it's funny if you look at North Dallas 40, which I think is the most realistic sports movie ever, maybe outside of Slapshot. Because Slapshot, that's really how hockey was in the 70s. It was jungle hockey. I mean, it was wild. Um, but he was basically playing Tom Landry. And if you ever see Tom Landry in interviews, you're like, oh man, G.D. Spradlin nailed it. Um, So, and then the next segment is Roderick Strong and the Kingman and the Kingdom come out. I kind of like, this character Roderick Strong is doing is growing on me, and I love the T-shirt that says "Adam." I might have to get that. And he does the standard heel. They're in Oakland, so he's had a pretty funny line looking at the crowd, going, "Looking at you guys, now I know why the Raiders left." That's pretty funny. Yeah, Slapshot with Paul Newman. It's a very. I don't know how old you are, Charlie. Don't surf. I'm 55. I'm not sure how old you are, William or Chris. Uh, yes, John Matuszak was um, obviously great in North Dallas 40 because I'm sure he was the technical consultant. Because he had played. I think he was the number one pick in the draft for the Houston Oilers, and then obviously he's most known for the Oakland Raiders, his stint there, and he then I think he still could have played football, but he started getting good acting roles in North Dallas 40 and Caveman with Ringo Starr, The Goonies. He was in one of my favorite episodes of Miami Vice, Viking Bikers from Hell, where he played in a biker gang with Red Brown, who my brother used to surf with in Malibu, also in the movie Big Wednesday, and Sonny Landham, the Indian from Predator. I think that episode of Miami Vice was filmed the very same year of Predator. And it's kind of funny. And it's obviously, I love Michael Mann, but if you're a real connoisseur of like paying very good attention to details, and the episode Viking Bikers from Hell, obviously on the motorcycle scenes, you couldn't have three actors doing the stunts. So there is a black guy playing Sonny Landham's part, and it's pretty clear it's not Sonny Landham on the motorcycle. Reminds me of when in the stunts for Kiss's Phantom of the Park, uh, there was a black guy playing Ace Frehley. Okay, 45. So yeah, yeah. I mean, you're 10 years younger than me, but we probably grew up for the most part watching the same films. Yeah, I mean, John Matuszak, it's really sad. I knew his. I used to work out at a private training gym in Culver City, 1989, the year he passed away, and one of the trainers there was his girlfriend, and beautiful, tall girl. She kind of, she looked like she could have been in King Cobra because she had basically like she was white, but she had the Jerry curl hair, and I mean, I remember talking with her a few times about John Matuszak, and I could tell. I don't remember exactly what was said, but I could tell she was sad that she couldn't help him. Like, but he passed away that year, which is crazy. Only to be that young, 39 years old. Like, I mean, it's just like mind blowing because he could have been a very good character actor. He kind of was in that Tex Cobb, role. The big crazy guy. And there's always room for a big crazy guy in Hollywood. But sadly, that's another guy the business, you know, ate alive. So the Kingdom was against these two jobbers. Uh, I'd never seen these guys before. Los Suavecitos, Danny Rose and Ricky G. It's a pretty quick match. I mean, I don't know if this match even hit a minute. Um, Strong, and then went back up the. Strong got out of his wheelchair and took off his neck brace and hit his backbreaker finisher, and then jumped back into his wheelchair and put the mask on. So pretty. It's growing on me, Roderick Strong. I mean, I still don't know where they are going with his character. Uh, you know, this whole. I mean, if Britt Baker or Adam Cole is the devil, maybe Strong is one of the masked men. Although a lot of people seem to think this will be Kyle O'Reilly's return. I will say the other night in watching the Devil segment, when they threw Bowens through the glass window, one of the guys, I think the guy who threw him through the glass window is pretty jacked. So that might be Mustafa Ali. Now, I still think the Devil would be great to debut Dolph Ziggler with. Get some instant heat. But the other night I noticed that, and I said this on the Dynamite stream, that the Devil seems very slender up top, which could mean it's Britt Baker or another woman. I mean, I don't think it's CJ Perry because she's pretty broad up top. So who knows? I know, Charlie, 39, just makes me sad that I've lived to 55 and, I mean, I've seen it almost on a nightly basis. These people who should have great careers and live a long time and they just party too much or chase pussy or dick, and then they get burnout and just they don't last. Yes, I literally have either worked or worked out at every gym in Los Angeles from the old days, the Marina Athletic Club, which was a really cool gym in Marina Del Rey that had a full outdoor gym. And that was back in my tanning days. I think, as you can tell now, I'm pretty pale. Um, and um, Gold's Gym in Venice, Powerhouse Gym. There's another gym in Venice, not Iron Man, but Iron something. Like I used to see Lou Ferrigno work out there all the time. But I worked at the gym where the John Travolta movie Perfect was filmed. Sports Connection back then. I worked at before sports. Now this is a little LA local, so if you're not from LA, I apologize because you'll probably be lost in the sauce when I'm mentioning these gyms. But before Sports Club LA became Equinox, it was actually called Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Health Club or Sports Club. Um, and then Family Fitness in Beverly Hills, Gold's Gym in Hollywood, 24 Hour Fitness in West. I mean, I've literally been a member at every gym in the city. So, I mean, I wasn't big. The Devil is the shock master. I don't know about that. Did you ever work out at Muscle Beach? I wasn't big enough to work out at Muscle Beach, even in my heyday. I mean, I would say body wise, the biggest I ever was around, I would say 88 to 93. I was probably 200 pounds of pure muscle because I was pretty strong. For a guy who's never done steroids or anything like that, I was strong. And when I tore my ACL in 91, I didn't know it. I didn't know I tore my ACL till 2004. And I think I've hold on, let me get a energy drink. Hold please. This is unprofessional, but once again, this is the Amber Wild shirt. Paul Stanley's Kids Band. Check them out. They're actually pretty good. But in 1991, I had a knee-to-knee hit. It's brutal. I was coming around the net. The defenseman was pinching, and the ball was in between us. So it was just bam, knee to knee, and my knee went that way. Um, I mean, I could hear the pop it made right now. Brutal, brutal injury. I mean, it felt like a rubber band snapped in my leg, which was my ACL at the time. But I was so strong back then that I mean, I think I was squatting 595 5, 6 times or whatever. I mean, my form wasn't the greatest, but I was doing a full squat. So my legs were so strong and there was so much muscle in that area that I finished the rest of the game and scored a goal, bitch. And, um, that night my knee was sore, but I was walking around pretty good. So I go to sleep going, it's just a muscle bruise or whatever, a bone bruise. And I wake up the next day and I literally, I couldn't walk. I got up or I woke up and literally I couldn't move my right leg. So I had to crawl down. I lived on the 11th floor. I had to crawl to the elevator and the security guy was like, "Do you need some help?" I'm like, "No, no, I got it." Crawled to my car, got in the car with the yellow pages in hand. I had no idea where I was going. The yellow pages. This shows you how long ago this was. There was no internet really. Um, now you could look up knee surgeon and you get 100 choices. And I went to this guy, Nutella, something. He was the Raiders doctor. It ended up being the Raiders doctor. So I think he was in Beverly Hills. So I could drive there. I literally parked my car to meet her, put money in, and I thought I'll just hop to the office. I literally couldn't move. I get out of the car, I fall down, and I was crawling in the street to get to the other side, and the cop probably thought I was insane. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I played hockey, my knee, I can't move." So the cop carried me to the office, and then the Raiders doctor, I probably could have sued him. Said, "Oh, you just have a bone bruise and stretched ligaments. You'll be fine. You might have a bone chip as well. That's what you're feeling right now. No MRI." And I don't know, about 2, 3 weeks later, I started getting full movement, or not full movement, but walking around with a little bit of discomfort. And I played hockey 3 weeks later, which now I realize, oh, I had a fully torn ACL. And so still squatted what I squatted, and then, about 2004, so about 13 years later, I was playing hockey, started getting these excruciating pains on the right and left side of my knee, and, it got so bad I could barely walk. So I go to, Beverly Hills Orthopedic, saw the great Doctor Barry Breaker. And this guy had no bedside manner, but he was the greatest doctor I've ever been to. Takes an X-ray, comes back up, and my delivery is very dry and sarcastic. His was even worse. He just looks at me and goes, "You know you don't have an ACL, right?" I'm like, "What?" Shows me the picture. Like an ACL, like typically is like, it's literally about the sutton. Maybe take off the tip. It's about, from hair to hair. It's the white part basically of this pen. And my X-ray, literally, that was my ACL. Like, I had nothing left. Um, and the side pain in my knee was basically my side ligaments were shredding away because they were supporting the knee. And he just looks at me and goes, "You need surgery. You won't be the same for 2 years. You'll cry at your first rehab because you'll be so immobile. But I will get you there." And sure enough, it was literally, I won't say 2 years to the day, but um, pretty much 2 years to the day that it took me to get back to normal. And yeah, I did cry at my first rehab uh, appointment because the first thing they have you do is, now this is a couple weeks after the surgery, might have even been a month. You sit on the edge of the table, the exercise table, and the rehab person tries to get you to do a basic leg extension. No weight, just you're just hanging off the side of the table. And I couldn't move my leg. It was so fucked up. And then I just did the rehab to the T. I think I got 24 sessions with the insurance, and I just, you know, my I wouldn't say I'm stronger now than I was back then, but my knee's in pretty good shape. But I still feel the injury. Like when I take yoga, there's certain moves I can't do because my knee just can't get into that shape. Um, so yeah, it's Johnny A. I'm sorry. I did work out at Golds, both Golds. Um, I haven't seen the new Santa Claus commercial, William. Yeah, I mean, I basically my injury, the full diagnosis was torn ACL and torn side ligaments. I think that's the MCL. Um, and it's just when you meet Patty, please. No, it's not. I met her years later. Hello. I got an ACL transplant from a gorilla. No, I actually have a cadaver, um, a dead person's ACL in my leg. It's amazing what they did. I mean, like, if you look at my knee, my right knee, you can barely see where they went in. And, I returned to playing hockey full time. I mean, I was squatting as much as I did before the surgery. And it's RIP Kamala. My legs are in better shape than Kamala's, that's for sure. But it just shows you the miracle of what the body is capable of. I mean, the fact that from 91 to 2004, so 12, 13 years, um, the fact that I was squatting as much as I was, playing hockey, exercising to my limit with no ACL in one leg, it's really like jaw dropping to see what the body is capable of. Well, I mean, back then, 2004 when I had the surgery, the technology was pretty good. I mean, I can only imagine, if you tear your ACL now, what the advances are um, now. Um, I mean, in 91, 92, when the injury happened, the Raiders, and I don't know what the statute of limitations is, but I literally probably could have sued him because he misdiagnosed it. So, oh, I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't answer this question. How often have you crossed paths with Perry Caravello? I haven't seen Perry, and I mean, I used to go to the Windy City Heat things with Jordan a couple years ago. I think I was in Perry's gay wedding, which is filmed right down the street. I was a go-go dancer in that. It's funny, I don't think it's ever been released, but I was wearing these really tight white Speedos, but I take so many vitamins that my pee is like bright yellow. So the whole front of my underwear was yellow piss stains. um, I mean, I met Perry, I think like my second year in comedy at the Canoga Bowl. And I mean, I was pretty funny back then for an open micer, and I had a good set at the Canoga Bowl, and he came up to me. I'll never forget. He gave me his card, says he's an actor and he's going to be famous. I'm like, who says that? Like, who meets someone at a comedy show and says, "Hey, my name's Earl. I'm going to be famous." So my first meeting with him, I was like, "This guy's a total putz." Um, and you know, I don't know. I don't find him funny. I mean, I think the only time he's been funny is in the early days of Windy City Heat with Don Barris and Mole and Kimmel. I mean, now what he does with that guy Tom, it's just fucking sad. It's like they're making. It's like watching a retarded person. Like, I guess I gotta watch what I say on YouTube, but it's like I don't know. They're like taking advantage of a guy who's not smart enough to realize he's being taken advantage of. So, oh, I'm glad Ross, the Z Man, and Jim Florentine are good people. I mean, the Ice House is a different vibe than probably when you've been to it, Jordan. I mean, it's a nice club. I mean, the Lakers owner owns it. So, I mean, they put money into it. You can definitely tell they put money into it. I would guess the renovation, probably $5 million. I mean, there's some things that, I'd still do differently, like in the main room where I was at last night. It's a nice size room. It seems like it's a bigger version of the OR in the Comedy Store, but they have a VIP room in the back that has a glass partition. So the people in the VIP room, and last night it was the comics, but this is totally the room. Like if LeBron James went to watch a show, he would be in this room. But acoustically, it sounds a little off because the sound bounces off that glass and it kind of dies. Whereas if it were a wall and had soundproof padding on it or something to bounce the sound back, I think it would be better. And I don't like being that guy. Well, this is what I would do, Mr. Bus. Um, but so I still think they have some kinks to work out. And they have an armed guard in the room. Like it's weird. Like the Comedy Store, they wand you before you go in, but at the Ice House, they have an armed guard in the showroom. Like it's kind of weird. Because last night I was getting heckled, and I heckling for me it's pretty easy. Like I was killing this guy too, and the crowd was totally on my side. See, that's the thing with hecklers, where no, Jay Moore is not the bartender. He married the owner. Of course, he's going to get spots. Um, but yeah, Dante's out of control. They shouldn't in the front end. Yes, yes, they should, Jordan. Oh, thank you, Luke. I'm taking a step back from that world. I went on MLC to judge a stupid roast battle, and I still think that the battle was a draw. I thought Ray won the first round. I thought Chad did enough to win the second round. Neither one did anything in the third, so I had it as a draw. And I literally had someone uh, on Twitter yesterday going, "You suck. You add nothing to any show you're on, and I hope you die of bone cancer." It's like that's fucking mental illness, man. So I don't need that energy in my life. So I'm gonna take a step back from appearing on any Dabbleverse related shows. Um, but thank you. I mean, I had fun up until getting comments like that. Lemmy's BO could be used to get Hamas out of Palestine. Let me tell you that much right now. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I don't know, Jordan. But it's just like, I thought, oh, I'll judge because in LA, I've judged over 100 roast battles. I was on every show for 5 years, so I've seen literally over 1,000 roast battles. I've got 13 battles myself, so I know how hard it is. 5 of them on television, so I get what Chad and Ray were going through mentally and all that. So I thought, yeah, I'm the perfect judge. And to have someone with not just cancer on you, but bone cancer, like it's like fuck off. Um, why do people call me stand up Batman? I mean, yeah, I don't know Jeannie Buss. She is attractive, so good for Jay. I mean, you were spot on. Then doing 3 streams on Ray not writing jokes. Well, here's the thing, and I don't really want to talk about the roast that much, but I will. Um, Everyone gets jokes written for them on roast battle. Like um, when I battled Jimmy Carr, I had comics from all over the world sending me unsolicited jokes, and some of them were funny, so I reused them. Um, I mean, I would say me personally, and really on my non-TV and TV battles, I would say I wrote 60% of my jokes, and the other 40% were outsourced. I guess people just sending me jokes. I mean, when I battled, I think was it my ex-girlfriend at the time? I think I had 407 jokes on her because our battle kept getting delayed. So I just kept writing and writing and writing. People would give me jokes. So I had 407 jokes on her. When I battled my first battle on in Montreal on TV was against my friend Tom Ballard. I think I wrote 65 jokes in a week. Now, a lot of them are horrible, to be honest with you. Hacky. I mean, roast battle is hacky. So I've never understood that. That was the main beef with Chad. His jokes were hacky, but roast battle's hacky. It's basically skilled bullying. Um, hurt them before they hurt you. So people think I'm stand-up Batman on Twitter because it's very much um, written in my voice, but it's not me. I mean, I talk a lot. I don't talk shit. I talk facts, and I put my name behind it. So they're actually doing a documentary on who stand-up Batman is. I was interviewed heavily for it. Speaking of Nikki Cox, I saw her at an open mic a couple months ago, and my God, man! I mean, she used to be beautiful, but now it's it's pretty bad. Kind of sad. Yeah, no, no, no. Well, I'm just about to wrap up the Rampage. We're just going over the Kanem and uh, fuck, now I'm drawing a blank because you guys got me talking about Roderick Strong and the squash match and you know Nair, the backstage segment with Lexi Nair, and then Darius Martin and Action Andretti come in and challenged him for a match. So I don't know if that's going to happen. That might be on like the pre-show for Full Gear. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, I love Kevin Brennan, um, but did I miss? But I just that whole world is so negative, man. I'm not into it. Like here I am doing that roast. You can ask Kevin or Adam as producer. I didn't ask for money. I thought, oh, I'll just do it to help out the show, and like I'm getting wished death. Fuck that. Yes, I will be watching Steelers Packers. Jimmy Carr was on Rogan. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's a great, um, he's a great guy. You know, uh, I enjoyed our battle. Uh, but yeah, the lights in the green room are awesome, Johnny. Um, I do. I am. Well, yeah, you're right. I am kind of like the real Batman, not stand-up Batman. Well, I mean, I just don't need the energy Charlie don't serve. Like here I am working for free, trying to help out the show because I love roast battle. Like I love, I'll always like the show because I have fond memories of it. But like, and I get, in an internet chat room, there's going to be trolling and stuff like that. I understand, but hey, you guys should tweet at Joe Rogan, "Hey, you had Jimmy Carr on. Why don't you have the guy who beat Jimmy Carr on next?" Stuff like that could get me on Rogan, because I know Joe sees all his tweets. Like he does eventually see them. So let's do this on the DL because there's 8 people in the stream. So I'm not saying all 8 of you, but if you guys tweet at Joe Rogan, when are you gonna have Earl Skakel on? The guy who beat Jimmy Carr. You might see me on Rogan. I mean, I'm Charlie. I'm not going to say I'm never going to be back on MLC or Melton's show or Chad show, but like I don't need the fucking negativity, man. Because there are certain people in that world who thrive off of it. They need it. And I think my reluctance of on going back in those shows is I don't need the fucking Snapchat money or super chat money. Like that whole world basically is online panhandling. Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money. And I can guarantee you when I do get to my 4,000 hours on here and can receive super chats, I'm not going to ask one of you to super chat me. I will ask every, I will answer every question you ask. Yeah, if you want to send me super chat money, just because, hey, you're a fan of mine, I'm not going to say I'm not going to take it, but I'm not going to revolve my whole world around, I need money, I need money. Um, oh, yeah. Well, it worked, Charlie, because like I watched the battle again, going, okay, maybe I'm wrong, and I watched it again, and my decision stands. I think it was a technical draw, and I was the only one who said, I'm gonna need a one joke overtime, and I said that instantly. So I wanted a winner. So yeah, I do. I don't know where they're going with that storyline, Jordan. Like, in terms of MJF, I mean, he's got the Garcia coming after him, Samoa Joe, Wardlow, Omega, Jay White. So, who won? I beat Jimmy Carr on. It was my second battle. On was my it was my third battle on television, but my second battle in Montreal. I had beat Tom Ballard, who I was really nervous about because Tom had beaten Jimmy in the untelevised season, but of course, knowing Jeff Ross and how he operates, they gave the battle to Jimmy. So in my bracket in Montreal, I was basically facing both champions, which I thought was completely unfair when you looked at, say, like, and I love Mike Lawrence and he's the champ and I give him that respect, but his bracket, he had Ralphie May and Miss Pat. Another battler had three people in their bracket who'd never roasted before. You know, so it's just like I don't understand like why I'm the only one who's getting tough battle after tough battle after tough battle after tough battle, and everyone else on that show at least got one basically gimme battle. Hey, get your feet wet, you'll kill this person, blah blah blah. So that's why I have not necessarily anger, but I'm still upset at how I was treated. Yeah, KB and Bob would be cool if they took it seriously and they wrote. I mean, I agree, Jordan. I mean, and listen, I love all the shows. I listen to Melton still, and MLC I listen to every day. I'm friends with Chad. I'm friends with Ray too, though. It's not like I went on Ray's show the other night because my good buddy Stevie Lou was like, "Oh, I think Earl's afraid of Chad," and I called in right away. I'm like, "Why would I be afraid of Chad? I'm an LA comic, and although I'm not a famous LA comic for sure, I'm probably the most well-liked comic in Los Angeles. Not my comedy, but like last night when I walked into the green room of the Ice House, everyone smiled, and I know there's at least one or two of them that don't like me as a comic, but they're like, "Hey, Earl's here, cool." So, there's nothing anyone can do to me in LA comedy. I mean, even Jeff Ross has had to reach out to mutual friends and go, "Hey, can you talk to Earl? He's a bit of a wild card." Like, even he can't do anything to me. So, you know well, but I mean, that's Kevin's character, though, and I get it. Kevin's incredibly smart. Like, he has his fans, like every comic does. Chad has fans, Ray has fans, Stevie Lou has fans, I have fans. But what Kevin does is he almost encourages trolling because he's worked his character so well that people will pay to troll him. People will pay him $5, $10, and some more. Go, hey, you fucking suck. Neil's better. Kevin loves it. Yeah, $10. Thank you. Say something else. $10. I mean, it's really brilliant. Um, but it's brilliant. Chad's the same thing. I mean, Chad basically has invented this fucking wrestling character, and people hate him, and they pay to troll him. Well, no, but let me tell you something in terms of Kevin not paying me. I never asked. I've never once asked him for money. And I think if I would say, "Hey, can I get $100 for judging?" He would. So, I mean, I get it though. I mean, it's, but I think the problem is, um, well, Charlie don't surf. Don't make it too obvious. But if enough people see that, you go, "Hey, at Joe Rogan, great interview with at Jimmy Carr. Why don't you have the guy who beat him at roast battle at Earl Skakel?" That's basically the foundation of the tweet for you. I mean, don't overplay it, because then it sounds like I'm asking, and I know Joe hates it when you ask to be on his podcast. But I will say he has asked me in the past, so you know, who knows? Did you give Josh Nasser a big hug? I did. I get along with Josh. Josh is kind of like the LA version of Chad. People don't like the guy for how he promotes himself on TikTok and YouTube, but the guy's killing it. I'll steal a phrase from Kevin Brennan. Josh Nasser is killing it. Million fans on TikTok. I think he's got like something like some crazy amount of views on YouTube, like 300 million or whatever. Uh, so yeah, I mean, but I think Perry's manufactured. Like, I just don't think that the Perry stuff. It just seems like a somewhat of an act. Um, and Kevin's authentic. I'll give him that. Listen, you cannot like the things he says, or the some of the battles he picks with people, but that's who he is, and that's why I've always liked him. He even was roasting me at one point a couple months ago, um, but that's who he is. Uh, yeah, I mean, Opie, I've actually recently talked to him a few times, just online, Twitter, I think. Um, he gets it too, though. Like, he's trolling the trolls. So, but I think he'd get more money if he took like my approach, and see, the people who are the big super chatters, they know, they go to the highest bidder. And if you show them that you don't need their money, it almost makes them want to send you more money. Like, I guarantee you, when I can get super chat money, I will get some of those people from the dabble world sending me money, because I've told them, I don't need your money. I don't want it. Keep it. Give it to whoever. Give it to Chad. Give it to Ray. Give it to Dr. Chow or Little Mirror or whatever. I will never once say, send me money, because I make money in voiceovers and stand up. Last night I got paid a few $100 at the Ice House. Tonight I'm doing a main room spot at the Comedy Store. I'm gonna get, it's sold out Saturday night show, so that's probably a $500-600 check. So I'm good. And normally I don't like to talk about the money I make, but that I'm just, I provide facts, so that's why I don't need super chat money. Do I want it? Sure. Everyone wants to get paid for their work, but you know, well, Jordan, please don't do that. Rogan doesn't have the grapes to have Big Earl on. I can assure you that tweet will not get Earl Skakel on Joe Rogan. Um, but even though I said Joe doesn't like to be asked to, hey, can I do your podcast? And I get it. He did ask me once before. I just fumbled the execution of it. So, I mean, I just don't think Perry's funny, and I think the only one who really knew how to wrangle him in was Don Barris and Mole and Kimmel. Uh, yeah, I mean, those AI voices on Melton's, they're pretty funny. Hack Ride and the Jerrys. I don't know what that means, Johnny, to be honest with you. Oh, yeah. I mean, Kevin makes, Melton, I think, broke it down, off the super chat money and Patreon. Kevin makes about 30 grand a month. I mean, Kevin really, older comics like myself, and hell, even younger comics should thank him, because he's proof that you can uh, make money in your living room versus doing some shitty road gigs. Now I see we have 9 people in chat, so I'll just retell the story real fast. So, well, let me finish up with Rampage. A very good match between FTR and Commander El Hijo del Vikingo with Alex Abrahantes. I'm not a fan of his. He adds nothing right now in terms of being a manager, but a very good match. A lot of high flying moves. I would say this match, maybe about 10 minutes, but FTR won. And 10 to 12 minutes maybe. I did like the ending of Rampage because as FTR wins, a video of House of Black pops up, and it's just them smiling. And I love House of Black. They might be my new favorite faction. So my overall grade of Rampage, very strong B plus, A minus, very good. Back to the chat. So people don't send Chad money because they know he has access to endless credit cards. But that might be true. I've been looking for an endless credit card my whole life. Me too, brother. Oh, no, I just didn't know what you meant. Charlie don't serve. Oh, I agree. I mean, I think Don should revisit. I mean, listen, he's in deep with Perry, so why not have Tom and those guys do all the work, and Don could, get a little money out of it. Hello. I like HOB. Yeah, yes. House of I really like it's Buddy Matthews. But in your defense, Jordan, I also called him Buddy Murphy one time. Yeah, thank you, Charlie. I mean, it's just you have to, tweeting it, you just can't make it obvious. And you know, um, but thank you. So if like people go on Twitter and retweet Charlie Don't Surf's tweet, it gains a little. I can't like it or retweet it because then it seems like I told you to do it. And I guess anyone who watches this stream will see that I did tell you to do it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I mean, I think the problem with the Dabbleverse eventually is just that um, you're going to run out of victims and targets. I mean, I'm really, and I'm not in the Dabbleverse. I always like to say I'm Dabbleverse adjacent. Like I've gone on most everyone's podcasts and streams. I haven't gone on Who Are These Podcasts because I don't think Carl knows who I am. And I've never been on Steel Toe. I talked with Aaron a few times on Twitter, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. But all the feuds are kind of old. It's very much like wrestling. And so, the feuds are old. I mean, how many times? Like I love Shuley. Like I get along with him very much, and but the Stuttering John stuff is so old, and I just don't. Uh, just like I just don't get that. I mean, Stuttering John is like, and I've done a comedy show with him. He seemed like a nice enough guy, but like, it's just old, And then the Chad stuff is old, Um, and so, and the Steel Toe stuff is kind of old, and I don't know. I think everyone's run out of targets. So then that's why guys like me are like, oh, fresh blood, fresh blood. But I don't feed the trolls, man. I don't get involved. I mean, I defended my judging in a few tweets because I really do love roast battles. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to let people know why I voted how I did, and I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like something Opie would say as a joke. I mean, he doesn't need the money. I mean, people make fun of the guy, and they say Kumia was the brains behind the show, but there's no Kumia without Opie. They were just the perfect pairing for each other, and I'm sure they get residuals in some form. Um, And I think if Opie were smart, I think he's obviously smart, that he would almost go the Kevin Brennan route and just encourage the trolls, embrace them. If if you're someone who's already hated, like Opie is, make money off of it. That's what makes Chad so brilliant. You could listen. You don't think he's funny or whatever. Humor is subjective. You know, and judging is subjective. I watched the Stevie Lou fight with my buddy Matty Goldberg. And if you really want a good book, check out Matty Goldberg's Brain Humor. He had a brain injury, and it's a very funny book. We watched the Stevie Lou fight together. He thought Stevie Lou won, and like I said, I thought it was a draw. I don't think either guy did enough to go, okay, this guy beat Stevie. Stevie beat this guy. So we were watching the same fight, the very same fight. So um, you know, opinions, vary. Just like Patrick Swayze said in Roadhouse. I mean, yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't get up till late, so that's why Kevin's show at 1 p.m. is perfect for me. And I have weird hours, so I kind of go to sleep listening to Melton. I listened about the first 45 minutes and then I nod off. Um, so, I think I'm struggling trying to find the algorithm. Like right now, Saturday afternoon, we have 9 people in chat. That's a lot for me. Um, but the other night I did one, I think at 3 in the morning. I think I had a maximum of 4 people or whatever. Um, and then I did one Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. and I had like 20 people in at high tide, and that was a lot for me. So, it's just trying to crack the algorithm. I mean, the good news is once you finally do crack the algorithm, you're in. So, I'll just keep plugging along and, see what happens. And by the way, if you're local tonight, I'll be at the Comedy Store closing out the main room Saturday night. I have a feeling not any of you are LA based, but if you're listening to this and you are LA based, come on down. I'll be wearing my new leather trench coat by John Barbados, the David Bowie collection. Thank you very much. So, and then, well, you guys know where to follow me at. Earl Skakel everywhere. Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I'm most active on YouTube now and Instagram. So if you ever are in Los Angeles, Luke, or anyone else, go Maple Leafs, Leafs. Um, just DM me on Instagram, give me a night or two notice because all the shows do sell out, and I'll take care of it. I'll give you the VIP tour. Take you into the back bar, which none of the regular audience gets to see. Take you out into the area where there may or may not be marijuana. And Comedy Store is the greatest club on earth. But it was fun to be at the Ice House last night. I get accused of only being a Comedy Store guy, so it's good to spread my wings and drive to Pasadena and show them I'm funny. Next week, I might do a stream of Fight Forever. I might have to consult with my consultant, Jordan. By the way, check out his travel vlog, Days with Jordan the Lion, the best one on the internet. Because as you can see, this is my iMac, so it's not very portable. Um, I love it. I love it, Chris. So I guess I could play it from here because the game controller is wireless, but I don't think that would be very fun for you guys just to see my facial reactions of the game that's over there. I just got a new TV, Samsung 85-inch 4K. It's pretty nice. To play video game on this, it's like you're playing like the real deal. I have not. So what I will do next week is I will load this. I haven't played it yet. So far, I've played the football, uh, baseball, and the hockey game. I like the football and hockey the best. Uh, the problem is with baseball, the game just takes too fucking long. I mean, I've got the sped up version where it's not quite as many highlights and whatnot, and it's still each game takes about 40 minutes. Now I've got the time. I'm not going to lie to you there, but I don't want to feel like I'm actually playing a baseball game. The hockey game, the periods are they're 20 minutes, but they take about 6 minutes to play because it's pretty fast paced. But you know, yeah, maybe, but I don't know how to do Twitch. Like, I'm trying so hard to build up my YouTube channel. I don't want to all of a sudden just jump ship and go to Twitch and then have to rebuild that. I mean, I do enjoy these live streams on YouTube. So, and I am close to getting super chat money, and um, my, whatever money I would make in super chat money, I would put into. Eventually what I want to do is move this podcast streaming area that's downstairs in my living room upstairs. So I would put whatever money I do make on super chats or whatever back into the show, get a newer desk and, all that kinds of stuff. And it would also double as my voiceover recording room because it's carpeted upstairs. Whereas I don't know how this sounds to you guys, but I do have hardwood floors down here. So it's probably a bit echoey for you guys. I do apologize for that, but it's right now it's the best I can do. Um, yeah, I mean, I figured that, Luke, and I do apologize for that. But right now, it's the best I can do. But when I go upstairs in the Jersey room, um, it's carpeted, and the jerseys. My friend is a sound engineer. So, dude, the jerseys are like soundproofing, so it'll be much better sounding upstairs. Hello. Oh no, I know, but I know it could sound better as well. Thank you, Charm Pipple. I mean, I keep it real, which is probably my problem. Um, Honesty is not the best policy in the entertainment business. But I have found that the older I've gotten, the more honest I've become. And yes, I do realize that, William. I think Melton and Kevin Brennan have said YouTube takes 30% right off the top. So then you got to pay probably another 20% with taxes. But it's still enough to, s- you know, maybe get a new iMac. I mean, this iMac's only 2 years old, but I know the cameras on the newer iMac. What up, Fred Sanford? Thank you for the support on Twitter. Sometimes I can't tell if you're trolling me or not, but I do enjoy your banter. Um, but I'm working it. I do like my background, so I think upstairs, obviously I won't have a kitchen background. I'll have my painting, the Earl sign. I might get another neon sign. I'm not sure what I would. Maybe it might say inappropriate, or something else. Maybe a logo. I do have a stencil where I used to go on the sidewalks around Fairfax and paint my face with the glasses. So maybe I'll get that. And well, you know, I had a comic the other day, Chris, come up to me and go, "Dude, I love how much shit you talk." And I'm like, "I don't talk shit. I talk facts." So that helps uh, eliminate a lot of the trolling. Certainly not all of it, but when you just talk shit, like with my situation with Jeff and Roast Battle, there's a reason Jeff has never come out against me because he knows everything I've said is true. Um, I would have Melrose Larry Green. Uh, he would not be my co-host. I would have him on for an episode, but I mean, I've had friends and associates of Roast Battle. Of course, they're too pussy to say it in public, but they come up to me at the comedy store or wherever club I'm at. Yeah, dude, you got burned pretty bad. Um, or even when I was trolling Jeremy Piven for getting Me Too'd out of Hollywood and getting into stand up, I troll him pretty hard. And I would have female comics coming up to me all the time or DMing me going, "Hey, man, we really appreciate you sticking up for us." And then a week later, they're on a lineup with them. It's like, well, you didn't appreciate it that much. But I got to stop worrying about other people and just concentrate on me. And, um, I do realize I actually, unlike most comics, get inspiration from a guy like Matt Rife, who was, struggling to get booked a couple of years ago. And he just did his own thing. Whether you like it or not, he did it. And now he's probably one of the biggest comics in the country right now, selling out theaters. So, whereas a couple of years ago, the only place he could get booked was the Laugh Factory, where he was running a show with Paul Elliott. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just build up a following on here and take it from there. Uh, so I know me and Jeff used to be comedy friends. I mean, I was a fan of his. I read his book, and I'm a big fan of roasting. Always have been. Started with I almost said the Martin Lawrence roast, the Dean Martin roast, and I never really liked the Comedy Central roast because they were too inauthentic for me. Um, I just didn't like. It's just like let's get a bunch of celebrities who don't know each other shitting on each other. Whereas the Dean Martin roast, you could tell they were friends. So. Uh, but and then obviously I'm not happy with what happened to me on Roast Battle and historical roast as well. I was supposed to be on that show, but that didn't happen either. So Matt Rife never did book me, to be honest with you. But I don't owe he doesn't owe me anything. But I was just saying though that a couple of years ago he literally I never saw him on any lineups, and now people are falling over themselves to book the guy. So that gives me hope. If you do your own thing, you build up a following on YouTube and Instagram, and I mean, I'm trying with TikTok. I'm just not. I've had to either pick TikTok or YouTube, and I just enjoy YouTube better. Um, uh, and then you can do your own thing. You almost don't even need a manager. The funny thing is, you get a manager after you've made it yourself, which is insane. But I'm also, fighting the fight of, I'm 55. So I had a 25-year-old manager. I was set up with this 25-year-old manager, not on a date, but I was coming in off a very good recommendation from someone very high up in the business who had seen me at the comedy store. And she's like, let me get you a manager. I only manage actors, so I don't know your world, but I think I have a girl perfect for you. And the girl talked to me for like literally under 30 seconds. She's like, "You're just too old. I can't do anything with you. You're too polished." And then, I mean, she was nice because she knew the person recommending me was a mutual friend, so she couldn't be a complete bitch to me. But like, I appreciated her honesty. She said, I can't do anything with you. I can't mold. Basically, she was saying, "You're too set in your comedy ways. You've established your character, and I can't mold you." So that's the business where literally being a polished comic is bad. Like it's insane. Um, I'll work with Dr. Ken in a second. Um, and we're friends. So never say never. But I'm going, 11 people in chat. Thank you guys for listening. Uh, Thanks for all the retweets and shares and likes and all that stuff. I mean, it helps, and I have no ego, so it's not above me to say, hey, can you retweet it and all that stuff. But don't do it if you don't like it. You know, I'll survive. But, and one thing that is, let's see, I'll plug someone else's Patreon. In December, the roast of Popeye from Blood In, Blood Out will be on Popeye's Patreon channel. Carlos Carrasco is the actor's name. So check that out. I probably had the set of the night. And it was a great dais. Frank Castillo, season 2 champ of Roast Battle, George Perez, this really funny comic, Tommy Three Plates, uh, Concrete, another comic, and Martin. I'm forgetting his name, but he's a really funny older comic named Martin. It was I improv my whole. I had not one joke written, and it was a room full of literally 300. I'll say 250. I'll split the estimation, and Popeye was the main bad guy. If I'm sure, as you know, Chris, and I was literally the only white guy in the room. It was all hardcore gangbangers, and they loved me. I started cussing in Spanish, like calling them putos, and I was like "Chingo su madre, pinche mayate." I better watch my language here because I know your channel can get struck for weird things on YouTube. So yeah, oh man, I'm getting a phone call right now on my landline. Let's see who this is. I'm on a YouTube stream right now. What's up? Who's this? You called me. Listen, I'm on a YouTube stream. Get to the point. Get to the joke. I know you're trolling me. Time is ticking, baby. Uh, well, I appreciate that. Calling from the Mayo Clinic. Uh, I'm getting I'm getting trolled right now. I'm talking to the YouTube stream audience. So thank get out of town. I don't know who this is, but you're out of control. How did you get my home number? I want answers. Listen, I know I'm pretty. My number's listed in the yellow pages for anyone who looks at that. Listen, it's unprofessional for me to take a phone call on a. Make it fast though. King, yes. I'm not sure to be completely honest with you. Yeah, it's a matter of some small town. But listen, call me back. Please don't call. Don't. Thank you. The mayor of Gay Town. All right. I don't know where that is. Probably my town. Whoever this is, I appreciate you trolling me live on the Ustream. It got some laughs in chat. I'll talk to you later. I'm not hanging up on you, but I gotta go. It's a landline. Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. It is. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is scary that someone from the dabble world or whoever this person is. Uh, if it was Joe Rogan, this stream would be over. Oh, thank you. Some people love him. Some people. The guy who said he wished I had bone cancer said my calls on Melton suck. Yeah, I take the call. Fuck it. I will put it on speaker next time. But that is scary that someone can find my home phone number. Like, cause that guy called me the other night, pretty late at night, like 10 o'clock, and that was right after I saw the tweet wishing I had bone cancer. So it's like, Jesus Christ, man, what have I got myself into? I just judged a fucking Zoom roast battle. People seem pretty upset about it. Um, but you know, the guy seems pretty nice, actually. It's the Night Slasher calling. It might be. Let me check the Twitter world. I don't see too many people. I like to check this is unprofessional. Yeah, no, all good on the quiet front with Twitter. Um, Yeah, a guy doxed me and my family. He gave psychos all my info. They came to my home anytime they want. Well, I live in a very secure building, so I'm actually not too worried about anything happening in that regard. Plus, I have a game used stick of, let me get that for you. This is unprofessional, but hold on. I have a game used stick of Artur's Kaliev. And if you guys know anything about hockey, most players don't use very much tape on the end of their stick. It's like maybe one wraparound so they can get some grip with their stick. This is Arthur's, how he grips his. I mean, that is a lot of tape for an NHL player. Um, I mean, I have a big hand and it's hard to grip the stick. Um, so, if anyone is unfortunate enough to break into my home, that stick is going to go up their ass. I've seen the nice lady taking the dump on the sidewalk. No, I have not. It was so gross. For those of you not knowing what William is talking about, the other night I was coming back from the gym and there's a lady maybe 50 yards down the street from my house just squatting, taking a shit on the sidewalk. And I walked by her and she looked up at me like, "What's your problem?" Like, what? This is out of control, this neighborhood. This neighborhood sucks. It's like the first week I moved here. Now I'm from LA, so I knew West Hollywood was, kind of a wacky neighborhood. That's fine. When in Rome, and trust me, in West Hollywood, you are in Rome, brother. Um, and I think I had 3 dogs at the time, and I'm walking them, and I'm pulling up to my front gate, and there's a guy just jacking off in the bushes, and he looks at me and goes, "What?" Like I'm out of line. Like, huh? Yes, Fred. There was a woman not using the bathroom. She was taking a shit uh, right down the street from my home. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm listed in the yellow pages or white pages, I guess, so it's not that hard. I mean, I think I gave my cell phone number out on the Roast Battle podcast when I was really amped up. It's funny when I did that podcast, Moses and Pat Barker were like, "Just play it cool, man. We just got this gig, because they were doing verbal violence podcasts in the basement of the Comedy Store, and then I think Comedy Central. I was like, well, let's just do, since we own the show and all that stuff, let's do the Comedy Central Roast Battle podcast. So I was asked to come on in the Comedy Central building, and I gave out my home number. I started naming executives' names. I mean, I wasn't doxing people, but I was like, this executive fucked me over. This person fucked me over. And if you listen to the podcast, which by the way, it was the most downloaded episode of in the podcast history of the network in 2 days. Um, they had all these other momos on. They couldn't even get a half hour out of them. They had to break mine up into 2 episodes. It was so good, but I still never got the show again. That sounds like a woman who likes protein bars to me. Did you ask her out? No, it was so gross though. It's just like, because when I turned the corner on my street, I saw her squatting, and I thought, "Oh, she's tying her shoe or something or whatever." And then it was like, "Oh my god." As I started getting closer to her, it's like seeing a mirage in the desert. I'm like, "Am I really seeing what I'm seeing?" And she's taking a dump. She's not even there's no toilet paper. She's not even wiping her ass. It's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable what I have to put up with in this neighborhood. So, guys, we're gonna call the see. This is what I love about doing these streams. We start out talking AEW Rampage, and we end on me telling a story about some homeless lady. I don't even think she was homeless, to be honest with you. She was pretty hot. Oh, I'm numb to it, Fred. Or I'll call you. I don't want to dox you, Charm. What is that? Cham Pipple. Sorry, Cham Pipple. Uh, I see so many things here in this neighborhood. Nothing. I'm not shocked anymore. Yeah, I mean, this lady was a gangsta. Uh, nothing. I don't get grossed out at anything anymore. I think the steam room at 24 Hour Fitness was good preparation. It was really like, okay. But thank you guys for listening. I'm not going to do a lot of Rampage recaps, but I thought this week was special because I think every show this week for AEW is going to be just a build up to Full Gear. Um, I think Dynamite will be good in Ontario. Ooh, that's going to be a rough drive though if I decide to go, because Ontario on paper is only about an hour away from me, but on a Wednesday afternoon, um, man, that's about a 2-hour drive because you got to take the 5 out there, and it's just brutal. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe William, maybe. Much love, V. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Cham Pipple, Ross Incognito. Obviously, my buddy Jordan. Thank you all. I mean, the 11 people listening, I appreciate it. It probably sounds fake that I'm being so humble, and I appreciate all 11 of you or 10 of you. One of you just left. I think you take the 5 to the 210. I mean, it's brutal on a Wednesday afternoon. So, because you get all the people who come from that area in the morning, they're all going back home, and it's just like it's really rough. So, but I've never seen Kenny Omega wrestle live, and I've never seen Sting wrestle. So, um, I hope to soak that all in. Um, at least next Saturday. Of course, there's no guarantee on Wednesday that they will be wrestling. I mean, assuming with Sting, they'll want to save him. I think Sting is wrestling tonight on Collision. Actually, it's a match I'm interested in. It's Sting, Adam Copeland, and Darby Allin against Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk Monster, with the Righteous. I like the Righteous. They're an interesting tag team. Like they're kind of weird. The bigger of the two is always going like it's kind of creepy, but it's funny. So Collision will be good tonight. I don't know if I'll do a full recap of Collision because that's a 2-hour show, and that I don't know if people would be interested in that. Let me know if you are. Tomorrow I'll be watching the Steeler game, so maybe I could do another stream tomorrow at around this time. What time is it? 4:30. I'm not sure when the Steelers play tomorrow. They play Green Bay. I don't know if it's a Sunday night game or the morning game. I'm lucky because I used to get the NFL package on DirecTV, and it was I don't know. I want to say $200, 187 or something in that neighborhood. So because I'm a Steeler fan, I went to go get the YouTube NFL package, and it's like $400. I'm like, fuck that. But a lot of the Steeler games are on television, so now Stephen Piercy lives in Vegas now, so and when he did live here, I don't think I'm doxing him. He lived, I think, in Valley Village. That's when I met him for the first time, when I picked up a pair of Mike Knuckles in the parking lot of a Starbucks. It's pretty funny. He pulls up. He's like, "Are you Earl?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "How you doing?" Oh, blah blah blah. And then he just dumps a bunch of Mike Knuckles on the hood of his car and goes, "Which ones do you want? Here's a few on the house." So shout out to Stephen Piercy. Steve Stevens as well. He sent me my ray gun. Hold on, that's a good way to end the podcast. Earl Skakel over and out. Thank you guys very much. Thanks for the shares, the retweets, and everything else. I'll tweet out tomorrow morning if I'm going to do a Collision stream. If it's a really hot show, I might do one. And thank you guys for the support. Earl Skakel over and out.